Want to know who you should take in your fantasy baseball drafts? Welcome to another episode of Pick 3 ADP, where we go round by round to break down 3 players I like and 1 player I'm fading at their current draft costs. Today we're covering round 2, which means players going picked 16 through 30 in NFBC fantasy baseball drafts. We'll start with my stud pick for round 2, which is Bryce Harper. Harper is currently going 17th off the board, but I do think there's a case for him to go above Matt Olson, and I think that Harper is probably the best value here in the second round. The Phillies' first baseman shocked people last year by coming back much earlier from offseason Tommy John than many people expected, and that did sap his power a little bit in the first half of the season. However, he got healthier as the season went on, and we started to see that power come back. In the second half of the year, Harper hit .296 with 18 home runs, 51 runs, and 49 RBI, and 6 steals. He maintained his elite plate discipline, and it was the 5th straight season that he posted a 13% barrel rate or higher. So Harper still has the power. Harper still is going to hit for a high average. We have every reason to believe he's a 30 home run hitter who can hit .290 or maybe above. And I think he's back to stealing 10, maybe even 15 bases. He did steal 11 last year, and that was while playing the first half of the season not really healthy. Oftentimes when you see hitters steal bases and slide into second base, they're sliding head first. Given that Harper's coming back from Tommy John surgery, the Phillies probably, and he probably didn't really want to risk that kind of increased pressure on his arm, on his shoulder. So I think you could see Harper push 15 or more stolen bases. I think that's tremendous value, especially now that he's a first baseman. So I love where Harper's going, and he's one of my favorite picks in round 2. My solid pick for round number 2 is Rafael Devers. The Red Sox third baseman is going off the board 23rd overall, and he's coming off a season in which he hit 30 home runs and posted 100 RBIs. He also kept his strikeout rate under 20% for the second straight year, which shows that that increased plate discipline is starting to carry over year for year for Rafael Devers. He won't steal more than a handful of bases, which is why he's going later in the second round. But I think that we should see a higher batting average than we did last year because he actually posted a career low BABIP, which led to that .271 average. I think Devers should be able to post a .280 average or something around there while still hitting for 30 home runs and potentially pushing 100 RBIs. People aren't really high on this Red Sox lineup, but it's really no worse than it was last year. In fact, Trevor Story coming back for a fully healthy year and the addition of Tyler O'Neill make it so that this could be a slightly better Red Sox lineup or maybe the exact same level. Also, the addition of Vaughn Grissom to play second base is going to be an improvement over guys like Pablo Reyes and Christian Arroyo, who the Red Sox trotted out last year. So if Devers was able to go 30 home runs, 100 RBIs last year, there's no reason why he can't do it again. And if he's hitting .280 with 5, 6, 7 stolen bases, that gives him really good value in the second round, especially because third base is a position with a handful of elite players and then a lot of question marks after that. So I like really kind of addressing third base early in drafts, and Devers is a good way to do that. Before I get to my sleeper pick in round number 2, make sure you pause this video, comment below, let me know which player you like in your second round, or ask me any questions that you have for your fantasy baseball drafts. My sleeper pick for round number 2 is Zack Wheeler. The Phillies starting pitcher is going 27th off the board, and I believe that he's one of the safer options when it comes to top-tier pitchers. Now, the starting pitcher market has drastically changed given injuries to guys that we used to draft as starting pitcher ones, like Shane McClanahan, Brandon Woodruff, Sandy Alcantara, Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer. So that leads to a lot of question marks with the SP1 tier. Now, my preferred strategy is to wait on starting pitchers and not draft a guy this high. However, if you are going to take a starting pitcher 1 early, if that's something you want to do, I believe Wheeler is one of the safer options that you can get. And I like him a lot better than Kevin Gausman, who's going just 2 picks after him at starting pitcher 29. Wheeler has an elite fastball combination with his four-seam and his sinker. They miss a lot of bats with a 20% swing strike rate to right-handed pitchers on the four-seam fastball. Wheeler added a sweeper last year to give him a different look and changed his kind of old slider into more of a cutter. So Wheeler now features a 5-pitch arsenal, which gives him lots of different ways to attack hitters depending on what's working on a particular day. We know he has really good team context playing for a Phillies team that should win a lot of games, and Wheeler has been an innings workhorse in years past. So if you're getting a lot of innings out of a guy with a good strikeout rate on a good team, I think that gives us a level of security that I like if I'm going to take a starting pitcher this early, and I'd certainly be taking Wheeler over the guys going around him. Lastly, we'll end with the player I'm fading for round number 2, and it's Elly de la Cruz. The Reds' phenom prospect is going 21st overall, and while there is no debating the raw skills that De La Cruz possesses, to me, this is just way too high to be taking De La Cruz in drafts. For starters, we have legitimate playing time concerns. The Reds also have prospects Noelvi Marte, Matt McLain, Christian Encarnacion Strand, now up on the Major League roster. They still have Jonathan India on their team, and they signed Heimer Candelario in the offseason. We know that Candelario is going to be an everyday player because manager David Bell has said he's going to be an everyday player, which means there's going to be rotation between all those other players, which likely means regular days off for guys like Marte and De La Cruz and McLain and India and Christian Encarnacion Strand so they can all get into the lineup. There are also some Reds beat writers who suggest that De La Cruz could start the year in the minor leagues to help him work on some of his plate discipline and strikeout issues. While De La Cruz was good from a fantasy perspective last year, fellow rookies Matt McLain and Noelvi Marte actually played better than he did, so there's a chance that they could see more playing time, or that De La Cruz could be the player sent down to work on seasoning in the minor leagues if they choose to do that. So that alone makes me hesitant to take De La Cruz with the 21st overall pick because that's too early in the draft to take somebody with playing time risks. I cannot miss on that pick. The other issue for me is the strikeout rate. De La Cruz had a 33.7% strikeout rate last year. He struck out 27% in AAA, so that strikeout problem is something that has always existed for him. While he chased pitches outside of the zone less as the year went on, he also just kind of stopped swinging at pitches. So his called strike rate went up, and his strikeout rate overall didn't really get better. So it's something he definitely needs to work on, and he hit just 191 in the second half of the year. The Reds are hoping to make the postseason, so that batting average and that strikeout rate is not going to fly if he doesn't show major improvements in spring training. So while his talent is undeniable, I just can't take De La Cruz this high in drafts, so I'll be fading him in the second round. That's going to do it for this episode of Pick 3 ADP. As a reminder, click below to like and subscribe to get all of our fantasy baseball content as the year goes on. Also, comment below, let me know which player you're picking in round 2, or ask me any questions about your fantasy baseball drafts, and we'll catch you for the next episode of Pick 3 ADP.